Hey, what is up, fellas, guys, and girls? Tyler is here back with Secure Team after, I know, a couple of days more of break. You know, in the Christmas time, this is one of my favorite times of year. You're going to maybe see a little bit less and less of me because we've just got so much going on. That is the reason for my absence. However, I wanted to come back and post a video tonight talking about 3 specific topics. One of them I got a ton of questions about regarding the last video I posted about how they had tried to silence me during my interview with Jimmy Church on Fade to Black. And so we are going to briefly touch on that as well. Now I also want to touch first and foremost to a new video that should infuriate, if not disgust, any of my Secure Team family here who are simple animal lovers. And you don't even have to own a dog or a cat, but maybe there's something deep down inside you that causes you to live by a certain code of honor when it comes to defenseless animals, and that maybe their protection is of the utmost importance. And that's what I believe. I've always been an animal lover. And I gotta say, I was having a great day. I just put the Christmas tree up along with the Secure Team ornament here. And it was a pretty happy day. That was until I ran into this news story about how they are caging whales and orcas and dolphins and putting them in underwater jails over on the east of Russia. So give this a look. Okay, so that video footage came from a drone. Some lucky guy was able to get this drone high up above what they're calling almost like a prison system for kidnapped whales, which began as a mere theory or a whisper or gossip. But because of this drone footage has now been validated 100%, where you can see in this video, courtesy of RT, that this drone flew over and captured a very large grouping of what appear to be prison pens, underwater prison pens, each filled up with 10 to 20 orchids, whales, dolphins, you name it. Totally illegal, by the way, for them to do that. You are allowed to catch these animals legally if you're doing it for scientific purposes, but this appears to be something much more dodgy. And according to this article here about what's happening, it states that in December of 2018, social media users began sharing a story with the self-published title, quote, "Drone footage reveals over 100 whales trapped in secret underwater jails." The story was then picked up by reputable English-speaking outlets such as CBS News and the UK's Telegraph. According to news reports, 90 belugas and 11 orcas are being held in small enclosures that reporters have dubbed whale jails or whale prisons. Some of the animals have been held there since July 2018, and many suspect that they will be sold for entertainment in a marine park industry in China. Think SeaWorld, guys. SeaWorld for China, where it is said that just a single orca whale can be reportedly fetched for around $6 million in the booming ocean theme park industry in the neighboring China. Now, although Russian prosecutors are investigating the capture and export of animals by 4 companies, the current fate of the animals is certainly unclear. A Mr. Thomas Henningsen, a marine biologist who is head of the Russia program for international environmental activist organization Greenpeace, confirmed via email that as of December 19th, the whales were still in the cages and that the conditions they were in were, quote, disastrous and cruel. It's also been noted that many of the whales taken illegally were likely infants, based on the sheer number of them picked up and packed into pens, even though the capture of whale calves is categorically forbidden. It breaks my heart, it truly does. As an animal lover myself, we love animals, and stuff like this makes me sick to my stomach. And although I realize it has nothing to do with aliens or UFOs, I do feel the need to push this channel towards exposing all wrongdoings happening around the world, all cover-ups, just like this cover-up here of chaining up these poor whales in these tiny underwater jails. Is that not a cover-up? Is that not a conspiracy? And I know I have a ton of people, a ton of you guys who watch this channel who are animal lovers, and even if you don't have animals, I know you all have good hearts, and that you could get behind something like this. So let's get behind it. We can see what more we can do, but I wanted to show you guys and to show you just how cruel humans can be to other humans and to other animals on this planet. Never ceases to amaze me. So with that, and as I calm down a little bit, because this story does get me fired up, there is one other thing I wanted to discuss, and that was the video I posted last about how we were talking about how we had possibly been silenced during my interview on Jimmy Church's Fade to Black. Now, if you remember watching that, there was a specific part before and during that interview. There were a number of things happening that, in my mind and Jimmy, seemed as if someone was attempting to not let this interview happen, from all of my computer software and hardware shutting down just 20 seconds before I was due to go live on air, to the part in the interview where I was discussing one of the most explosive UFO incident cases in my entire channel's life, and that, of course, was the pilot and his wife who emailed me, sent me UFO footage taken from a plane, and who were then threatened in no uncertain terms with losing their jobs, after which they had to shut down their channels and their email. Their first channel was called Two Fork, out of Texas, and I showed you screen grabs of that. Well, in that video and during that interview, before I suddenly lost my ability to talk on Skype, I was telling Jimmy how just the week before I had gotten a new email after 2 years of not hearing from this pilot, and how in that email he told me that he had opened up a new YouTube channel and that he had more footage to show me. And so as I was saying that, if you'll remember in the interview, I suddenly got cut out. And I'm not so sure if I got to finish talking about what had happened with this pilot before we ended that show. You'd have to go and watch the interview. So a lot of people have been asking me, Tyler, so what's the new YouTube of this pilot who you hadn't spoke with for 2 years, the one who disappeared because of what he was doing? And well, I want to tell you guys today what exactly happened and what I already said in the interview, just a little bit later after the glitching was all finished and I can actually talk again. So basically what had happened was I hadn't talked to this guy for 2 years, and since he sent me the emails telling me he had to shut it all down for fear of losing his job. So 2 years went by. Suddenly, I get an email, which I had missed, so it was about a week or two before when I finally got to it. The email said, Tyler, I've been following you this whole time, but I've been keeping it on the down low, we'll say. He said, but I have created a new YouTube channel, which at the time of the email, he had told me the name of the channel was Aerospace RC, which stood for Aerospace Research Center. Now, mind you, this was all new to me. This is the first time I had written any of this, but Steve, remember the guy's name was Steve, the Steve from the airplane and the maintenance guy in the picture I showed you. So he said, this is Steve from the former Two Fork channel. You're seeing the email here, by the way. Shares that he has the new YouTube channel called Aerospace RC, along with a new channel email, which was aerospacerc@gmail.com. He also sent me a link to a YouTube video of his that he was sharing. He also ended that email with, at this point in time, I'm not sure how many videos I will be posting, but it will depend on how well this video is received. I fix aircraft for a living. I am not a YouTube star and don't plan on being one. However, I do think it's important that this information gets out. I hope you will consider sharing the images and video. Hope you had a great vacation. Best regards, Steve from Aerospace RC, formerly Two Fork. So that, guys, is the email that Steve from Two Fork sent me after 2 years of silence. And here's what happened, and what I said in the interview with Jimmy. So I'm reading this email just like I did for you guys, and I start clicking on some of the links that he sent in this new email. Went to the YouTube page. What do you know? The YouTube page for Aerospace RC has once again been taken down and deleted. I go then to another link he showed me for a video. That video is no longer here, it's gone. So then I go to reply to Steve at his new email address at aerospacerc@gmail.com and say, hey buddy, what's going on? I'm so happy to hear from you, and I know millions of people will be too, so please let me know what's going on. And the moment I hit send, I get that same old instant Gmail response saying, I'm sorry, but this email address that you just tried to send an email to is no longer in existence and has been deregistered. All of this, of course, sending me back in my chair with a big wave of deja vu to what had just occurred 2 years earlier. And that's where we are, guys. The guy went missing for 2 years. After sending me that footage from the plane and of the moon and of the threats of losing his job, then I get this email, and I don't know if it's because it took me a week or more to get back to it, and that was too much time, and I didn't get back to him fast enough, so he decided to shut down everything again, or because something happened within that 1 to 2 week period of time before I was able to get back and respond. Something happened where he chose, under his own volition or because he was being forced to, for whatever reason, guys, he shut down all of his new Gmail, all of his new YouTube stuff. He shut it all down again. So that is where we are. It was like a brief, shining moment of happiness, having Steve email me back out of nowhere, telling me he's back, and then just to lose it all again. And once again, I'm back having no contact with this guy. And everything's gone again. So, like I said, I don't know what happened in between the time it took him to send me that email and the time it took for me to finally get it and read it. But by the time I responded back, he's gone. I'll post the links to his YouTube channel down below, the link he gave me to his email, the link he gave me to a YouTube video as well he wanted me to check out. All of them are down. Maybe one day they'll come back up, but this is all the links he gave me. And yeah, you've been seeing shots from the emails here as well. My response, and then Gmail's response telling me that the address has not been found. So that is the big ending that we got cut off of on our Skype call with Jimmy during the interview. And again, I'll say this, it was very, very coincidental that the entire interview was crystal clear, not one single hiccup. But the moment when the interview is almost damn near done, that we start talking about this same pilot who was sending in some amazing footage and who was threatened and had to shut everything down and almost lose his job. Very convenient how the moment we start talking about that guy again, my Skype cuts out and I'm getting either DDoSed by someone, some sort of attack is happening that is shutting down my Skype. It certainly was not my bandwidth, which I had more than enough of, and it was just very strange. The moment that it happened was right when I was trying to talk about this guy and his new channel. So that's it, guys. That's what happened. And again, before the interview even started, 30 seconds beforehand, and Jimmy has the phone calls and texts to prove this, I was running around like crazy because my computer system went completely dead when I had it all set up, Skype ready to go, all my recording equipment ready to go, walk back in, dead. All of it. Nothing would turn on, nothing. I literally had to switch computers, go to a different room and a different outlet, try to rehook up everything, and somehow we started the interview with just a second to waste. So that's what happened, guys. But yeah, hopefully one day I will hear from Steve once again. I'm monitoring for his email, so right when I get it, I can say, hey, I'm here. Don't shut anything else down. We want to know what more that you know and what video footage you have. So I think the moral of the story, kids, is that the cover-up is real. You will lose your job. You will have pressure put on you if you are attempting to expose the truth about the alien phenomena, just like what happened to Steve, just like the censorship happened during my interview, and the other things that have happened to me and to my family since I started this channel. The pressure is real. You can better believe that. And with that, that's all I gotta say. So I'm gonna go and hang a few more ornaments on the Christmas tree, and stay tuned because I miss you guys. I got much more coming. So thanks for your patience, and I will see you right back in just a bit.